next presenter this evening, coming up, Brian Collier, Unlawning America. Brian.
Great, good to go. All right, hi everybody. I'm here today to talk about a project I've been working on since 2017 called Unlawning America. This project builds upon work I've been doing since about 2005, and the central idea is to get people to transform lawn that they don't use for recreation into pollinator habitat. For more than 25 years, I've been making these kind of interdisciplinary art projects examining the ecological impacts of human activity. And my goal with this work is to help people notice the undomesticated plants and animals we encounter every day. The goal is to promote an increased sense of connection to the nearby natural world. Around 80% of all animals on Earth are insects. A study came out in 2017 showing a decline of 75% of flying insects over 3 decades in 60 protected natural areas in Germany. This was followed by a bunch of other studies that were showing similar declines all around the planet. Of course, this is tremendously disturbing, and there are numerous causes, a lot beyond a quick fix, but there's one thing, habitat loss, that we actually can do something about if we rethink how we manage the green space around where we live and work. We can create beneficial habitat for insects and a lot of other species. By simply not mowing the lawns that aren't used for play space or sports, we can reduce carbon emissions, reduce the amount of chemicals going into our earth and water, use less water, and most importantly, create habitat for insects and a whole range of other animals. Lawn is one of the largest irrigated crops in the US, taking up more than 40 million acres of land. This irrigation in most places takes 30 to 60% of all fresh water, mainly in urban and suburban areas, despite the fact that lawn doesn't contribute anything to our food or energy needs. Currently, most lawn is mowed about once every week or two with gas-powered mowers. The EPA estimates that around 800 million gallons of gas are used each year just for mowing. A significant percentage of that is spilled on the ground, creating a lot of pollution problems. So the air pollution from mowing with a gas-powered mower for 1 hour is equivalent to driving 11 vehicles for the same amount of time. Lawn is described by most ecologists as an ecological desert. This means that it really doesn't contribute anything to the plants and animals that live in or around it. Its maintenance contributes 67 million pounds of pesticides and 47 million pounds of herbicides to the environment each year. So I want you to imagine the reduction in carbon emissions if we cut mower use by half or more. Imagine the immediate ecological benefits of just half those 40 million acres being transformed into pollinator-friendly meadows. So try to picture yourself walking through a path cut through a pollinator meadow buzzing with life rather than across a green dead carpet. So why do we have lawns? Most Americans are conditioned, hang on, are conditioned to want a lawn, and many believe it's an essential component for the landscapes of our home and workplaces. This cultural tradition can be traced back to English and French manners, where lawn was a display of wealth. It only started appearing in the US after the Civil War, and it exploded after World War II with these housing developments. Because if you think about this history, many blindly accept the lawn as an essential component of American identity. So this project challenges these deeply seated perceptions, reminding us that they come from misdirected traditions and questionable beliefs. Unlawning America makes the practice of keeping a lawn more visible and less ordinary, and I celebrate unmediated green space and model alternatives to lawn. Perhaps more importantly, the project frames unmowed meadows, which many see as messy and undesirable, as ecologically and aesthetically valuable. Since keeping a lawn is actually a cultural practice, I utilize art, design, and other cultural strategies to promote the beauty of a diverse meadow. I use the Durer painting called A Great Piece of Turf for the project logo to tie it to art being created around the North American colonization period. Because this kind of cultural change is hard, I've developed strategies people can use to deflect neighbors who might prefer to see everything mowed. Using these strategies can also help shift the cultural current where the weirdo in the neighborhood is the one who doesn't mow the lawn, to the weirdo in the neighborhood is the one who does. Some strategies I found particularly helpful are pictured here, mowing shaped borders around your no-mow area, mowing a path through the middle of the meadow, using some kind of fencing or bordering to delineate it, and then finding plants that grow out of it and sort of grouping them, digging them up and grouping them together to make it look more like a cultivated garden. Signage is really important to deflect neighbors that might be a little bit upset about what you're doing. This is the sign I designed for the project. Pictured here is Shelburne Farms, which was one of the launch locations of this project. I use a bunch of different visual art in this project. I also created these unlawning kits that includes one of the signs. It includes flags to mark the edges. It includes biodiversity enhancement discs with seed balls embedded with native plant seeds to increase native biodiversity at the site. Of course, there's no need to use my kits, there's no need to use my signs, there's no need to identify no mowing with my project at all. Just stop mowing, mow less, and see what happens. So in all the years I've been doing this, I'm amazed at the resilience of the natural world, the diversity that is often hidden in a mowed lawn, and the speed at which plants and animals recolonize places once we leave them alone. So there's often a concern about weeds and pests, and I just want to point out that when we find plants or animals in these wrong places, we label them as weeds and pests. In their right places, they have an ecological function, right? So it's just because we decided that they're in the wrong place. It's important to realize they provide ecological function, and bringing an increased awareness to that is, especially in these novel ecosystems of the built environment, is really important. So things like early emerging bees and dandelions that grow in lawns, they become a really important component of the ecological profile of these novel ecosystems of our lawn. So I'll ask you, as my final thing, how much lawn do you need? I would argue much less than we got. Thank you.